positive person that I know. So much so I'm like, is this real? Like, but it is.
On the beginning of a awkward road trip somewhere because I'm like, yeah, I made you a mixtape, Dad.
I'm an energy healer. I teach intuitive development and spiritual mentor, and I help people learn about themselves and how to use their energy and the energy around them to create realities that they really enjoy and want.
I'm an expert in creative finance. Love creative finance. Talk face off about that and all the wonderful things with that. Mindset and raising private capital.
Hey, everybody. Happy Monday. Here we are. I'm Zac.
I'm Monique.
And we are at this energetic alignment and mindset series we've been doing. It's this podcast we've been doing for how many
21
weeks. 21 weeks. That's how pregnant she is.
Yeah.
So it's starting to bump down there.
The bump is bumping.
Yeah, dealing with that. And you guys or gals deal with pregnancy and weight and all of those different things you got to deal with in your mind with that. And helping your loved one deal with all those things in their mind with that. Yeah. So, hey, happy Monday. Glad to have you guys here. Mm-hmm. If you've had a wonderful Monday so far, awesome. It should get even better. If you've had a shitty Monday, sucks, too bad.
It'll get better.
It's going to get better. Absolutely. That's why we're here every Monday. We want to set you off on an awesome week for success and happiness and everything you guys want to achieve in your life. So whatever platform you are on right now, feel free to make comments in it. Those comments, they will show up right here and we can chat with each other easily that way. So please feel liberal with your comments, and if it gets excessive, I will tell you to stop. But
that hasn't happened yet.
That hasn't happened yet. Be excessive, guys, in life and everything that you want to do, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I like real estate investing. That's what I do every day. That's my job. A lot of people don't know what that even is, but it's something that I love, and it allows me to have the freedom to do what I want, when I want, with the people that I want, all the time. And I found a lovely person right here, and she does this thing called energetic alignment and intuitive development. All these things that a lot of people probably don't have an idea of what it is. So I'll let you tell them what that is, babe.
So being an energy healer, I help people connect to their energy fields. We are energetic. We all have an energy field, and we're just very disconnected from them. So I help and I teach people how to connect back to their energy, connect back to our body, and use our energy and manipulate our energy and the energy around us to create a better quality of life, to heal from previous experiences that may be holding us back from attracting a positive, more better quality of experience that we're having here.
Doesn't that sound better? Don't we all want to get over some of our icky stuff that we have in our past to have a much better future? We all know that we want a better future for everyone that's around us. So a lot of people are just tend to look many different ways to get there. And to me, I like the notion of and versus or in anything that I do. So instead of trying this or this or this or this, why don't I just try everything? Try and something's going to work, and something's going to work well for you at the end of the day. And that's the goal. We're here to help you guys out. So yeah, that's why we always say energy before action. That's our mantra. And we're here to just help you guys through that and to see what things come up, because energy is just something that's often underknown. It's overlooked. It's just something that we feel that's all around, yet how do we access it? How do we turn this into something that can be positive? And even then, once I even know something about it, what the heck do I do from there? It's a lot of self-awareness is the first step with a lot of things, but then it's just getting practice doing these things day in and day out so that we can just be a little bit better all the time and show up better for ourselves and our loved ones in this world. Right? Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
And we're always being impacted by our energy. Like, it's something that people don't really talk about, but what we're going to talk about today is how it's actually our energy and our mindset towards things that prohibit us from really moving forward in the success of more of what we want. And when I talk about energetic alignment and mindset, it's very esoteric. It's not very tangible. So some people are like, oh yeah, energy, whatever. But people don't realize, if you're not shifting your energy and you're still taking action, that just results in burnout and frustration, because we all are self-fulfilling prophecies. And our energy is a combination of our thoughts and our emotion, and that creates our overall vibrational frequency. And just like everything on this planet and in the universe, everything vibrates at a frequency, and you cannot mingle with or interact with other frequencies that are really high above or very beneath you, or really low beneath you, high above.
So like when somebody
Yeah.
says like, you're just not on my wavelength, man. Right? Like you're just
people
not
don't really
vibrating.
understand what they're saying when they say that. But yeah, essentially, but even so, like if you weren't matching that person's vibration, you wouldn't even be having that conversation with them.
That's right.
And because we don't notice that which we are not a vibrational equivalent for in one way or another.
It just goes right by us. You don't even notice those things. Like when you go to a good networking event, you go to a good group of real similar minded people, and you just feel like,
there are people you're drawn
really
to.
Cool.
But there are people you're drawn to, and there are people that they could be like, hey, you're at that event that I was at last week. And you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even notice. Like you didn't even notice them, right? Because there are people that, one, are vibrating at a frequency that you want to emulate. So you will notice that because you are actively pursuing that vibrational frequency. These are our idols. These are the people that we look up to. These are the people that have achieved the success that we want, right? They are vibrating at some type of frequency within that realm of success or of whatever it is that we are idolizing them for. And we want to emulate that vibration because on some level we know I need to be like that person. Well, that person has mastered a vibrational frequency, right? Everybody, all uber successful people realize this. It's once people realize this, then things really start to shift because you stop taking unnecessary action and you stop trying to get to the other room by beating your head against the wall, thinking it's going to create a hole in the wall that you can just step through. Because that's what it feels like when we're taking action, but we're not shifting our energy. And so what we want to do is we want to shift our energy and then take the action that matches that new energetic frequency that we are shifting into. Okay. So we all feel this. We feel this every day, but we just don't understand what it is. We don't understand how important it is. And we feel this when we feel sick or we feel low. You make different decisions when you don't feel well versus when you feel energized.
True.
And you wake up feeling grateful. And you make different decisions when you're angry versus when you're happy and joyful, because you are embodying different energetic frequencies. Therefore, you are a match for different types of actions. We notice things. We notice when we're upset. We notice every little thing that annoys us. But when you're in a good mood, things could be happening all around you and you're not paying attention to it at all.
They just fly off your back. Yeah. They're not an issue.
And we notice this. And the thing is that oftentimes in pursuit of our goals, whether it's with your body, whether it's with your finances, your career, your relationships, in pursuit to our goals, what happens is we immediately start to think, oh my gosh, this is what I want, right? We get all excited thinking about that deal that we're going to have, or that income that we're going to get, or that relationship that we want, or the body goals that we have in our mind. And eventually we start taking action, we start doing things, we start going to the gym, we start reaching out to people to sign contracts, we start going on dates. And maybe things aren't happening as fast as you want them to. You haven't had any great results yet, right?
Yeah.
What is one of the first thing that happens if you're doing it for a few days or a few weeks or a few months? We start to shift our mindset and we start to think like, why am I wasting my time? This isn't happening. I'm frustrated. When am I going to catch a break? Right? We've all gotten to this point of frustration, or maybe it's been years. We've all gotten to this point of frustration where we're just talking to ourselves or talking to other people, and that once like starry-eyed energy that we have is now deflated. And people ask us about, oh, how's this going, or how's that going, and we're like, oh, it's okay, right? It's good. Like, oh, but how's everything with you? We quickly change the subject, right? Who can relate to that? Because I know that I've done that.
Yeah. Yeah, I've felt that plenty, right? Get excited for something, real excited, whether it's a day you're not as excited anymore because it's not working out. If you're really not, I don't have a lot of patience with it, or maybe it's a week, maybe it's a month. Maybe you're just like, man, I need to make money from this thing, and this thing isn't making money, so I'm just going to shift. I'm going to give up right away. Maybe it's a year. How long is it before you should change something with that? Because I mean, obviously, the notion of what is that? Doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results
Is insanity.
Yeah. It's insanity, right? But so where's that fine line of being insane and being persistent, sticking to something, being committed, expecting different results and maybe following someone that or not following someone, just doing something willy-nilly without having any guidance for everything, that seems a little insane too. But yeah, not having good results, I mean, you're gonna want to give up eventually.
But that's the thing, is people get so attached to having the result is that they don't actually enjoy the journey. And the journey is a part of having the result, because if we all got the results that we wanted, we could wake up tomorrow and be like, all right, this is what I want. What do I have to do? We do a couple things and we have the result. But it's not about having the result. It's about who we become in pursuit of that result. Because we all have that friend, or we're that person where we have idolized someone with like that body that we want. And then maybe we've lost some weight, or we have a great body, but we still hate what we see when we look in the mirror. Or maybe we look at previous photos of ourselves from years prior. We're like, wow, I was so attractive back then. Why didn't I just like myself then? Because now I've gained weight and I wish that I had that body. Because it doesn't matter what you have. Who you are being will dictate what you have and your ability to hold onto it in your life. This is why energy is so important, because the version of you where you look back on that photo and you're like, oh my gosh, I was in such good shape. Why didn't I appreciate that? They didn't appreciate the shape they were in. They didn't identify as a person that had a banging body, that was attractive, that was confident. Therefore, they became you. And you're looking back thinking, why didn't I appreciate who I was? And this isn't a bad thing. It's just something that happens. But we don't appreciate things until we no longer have them, typically. And so when we're in the pursuit of a goal and we want something, we want that success, we want that income, we want that relationship, we want that body goal, whatever it is, this pertains to every area of life. Then we get lost in having it. And then the focus that we don't have it yet becomes very apparent. And so now we're recognizing I'm here, my goal's here, and it's not with me, right? So what we're doing energetically is we're creating separation from our goal. And when we create separation from our goal, what happens? You feel frustrated that it's not here. You're like, what the hell? I've been doing X, Y, and Z for weeks, months, years, still isn't happening. And we lose sight of the reason why we went to pursue the goal anyways. And that is not to have the number of dollar bills in our bank account, to look on the scale and to see a certain number on the scale, to have another body in your bed with you. It is to feel the way you're going to feel when that happens. It is because of what the money can buy you, of what having that number on the scale signifies for you, of the confidence that you think it will bring, of what having another body in bed with you signifies for you that you get to wake up to every single day and appreciate and love, of what that means about you, of what we make it mean about us. That's why we want these things. And yet, in pursuit of having them, we get lost in them not being here yet. And we cause that frustration and that anger and that impatience to build and to bubble and then to surface. And eventually, we're taking action out of desperation, or we're taking action out of frustration. We're taking action out of anger. And remember, we're going to take different action if we're feeling angry or frustrated than we are when we're feeling grateful and joyful and happy.
Yeah.
So then we're taking action that resonates with that frequency, and we're no longer in alignment with the energy of the goal. And then we take action thinking, oh, I just need to do more. I just need to do more to get what I want. I just need to do more to have that thing because it's not here yet. And we're doing more, but we're not changing our energy behind the doing. So we're beating our head against the wall even harder, thinking, oh, I'll eventually get this hole in the wall. I'll eventually be able to climb through this hole and get to the other room. When if we just realized, we took a break and realized like, oh, maybe this isn't working. Maybe it's not about what I'm doing. It's about who I'm being right now, the energy I'm embodying. And then we shift that, then the action that we want to take changes. The actions that we see available to us shifts. The solutions that were once eluding us are right in front of our face. And we're like, oh my gosh, so cute, Lola. And we're like, oh my gosh, of course, this is the natural next step. Or we walk into a coffee shop because we got a random craving for coffee. And then we have a conversation with someone. We're walking out of there with a new business partner. Or we go to the park to walk our dog instead of just walking through our neighborhood and we meet somebody.
Yeah. Because you're open to all of those things at that moment, and you're giving off that energy of happiness and gratitude, and just wow, you're someone that people want to approach. Because you feel you're radiating all of those wonderful things. People can sense that. You guys can sense those things, right? When someone has good energy around you, oh, that person seems like they have it all together. They might not. Right? They might just be pulling it together that day, but that doesn't matter. They pulled it together that day. And so they're able to attract those wonderful things around them. You can feel all of that easily. And you know when you're giving off angry vibes. Sometimes you might do those things purposefully to be prickly, like, don't talk to me, right? Sometimes you'll do those things without intention. And in so many other ways, you can give off those feelings that you don't even realize. It could be subtle little cues, the way that your eyes move around, whether you smile a little bit with your eyes and your mouth, or whether you don't, whether you're dead, whether you just look despondent. No one wants to approach someone like that, right? Same thing could be for an interview if you're going and do that. Same thing could be for a first date with someone. Any of those types of things. People are going to pick up on your subtle energy much more than you think.
Oh yeah. And we pick up on other people's energy before anything else. It just happens so fast at the subconscious level that we don't even realize what's happening, because cognitively we cannot grasp what's happening so fast. But we are always responding to people's energy before we are responding to anything else from them. And this is why we naturally are attracted to some people, or we want to talk to some people at networking events. We're drawn to some leaders or some speakers or some teachers versus others.
And even like you were saying, where you might look at someone else in the room and think, wow, I'd like to go and talk with them. But, you start to compare yourself to them, the ego with all of that. And then all of a sudden you might think, they probably don't want to talk to me. There's a whole story that's going on in their head at that point. They might not want to talk to me. I'm not good enough to talk to them right now. What's the perfect thing to say? You second guess everything, At least I know I've done that from being
Yeah.
an overthinker with all of that, as opposed to just do it, right? These experiences, you want them anyway. Just go and do them, right? Feel it through as opposed to thinking things through, right? You were already there. You already showed up. You already know that these are the people that you want to have in your life, whatever that thing is. Just go and do it, because what's the worst that can happen? Honestly, how long is that badness going to last? Probably not very long. And how much would you wish that you would have done that thing looking back? Looking back, you always want to do these things in life, right? You always want to take that step. Like, so just think that your friend is giving yourself advice and, and you are from a week later, oh man, I wish I had just done that.
Well, and it's like, who are you receiving advice from? Your future self or your past self? Who are you more committed to being? Are you more committed to being the version of you that has chickened out in the past, that has let their mind talk them out of experiences, that likes the comfort of sitting there and playing on your phone, that doesn't want to put yourself in uncomfortable positions that could potentially further you, that is stuck in procrastination mode, that is stuck in perfectionist mode, that is stuck in hiding themselves because they don't want to really be seen. They don't feel comfortable yet being seen because they don't have the confidence yet. Are you more committed to that version of you, or are you more committed to the version of you that has their goal, that has the results, the great results that they want? Because that version of you is totally different than the version of you sitting on the couch playing with your phone. That version of you is totally different than the version of you that wanted to talk to someone, but then talked yourself out of it, or message someone, but you didn't message them, or speak what's on your heart, but you held it in. That version of you has done all of those things. So who are you taking advice from? Your future self or your past self? Because if you want something that's currently not in your life, you have to become a different version of yourself, because who you've been has gotten you to where you're at. And if you want to shift, if you want something different, you have to become that person first. We think we take action and then we get the thing and then we become the person. But it is completely opposite. We become the person first. That triggers the action that we take, which then the end result is us having that thing. But so much more than that, it's us being that version of us, truly embodied and happy and present. Does that version of you rush through their day? Does that version of you rush through life? Does that version of you talk shit to yourself when you don't get everything on your to-do list accomplished? Is that version of you always talking down to you, or are they uplifting you? And I know it's so much easier said than done. We just ran our half marathon yesterday, and it was my first half marathon. And up until my mile 12 training run, I was talking so much smack to myself during these runs to try to get myself through the run. And I don't know, something clicked on our mile 12 training run where I was like, okay, I can't do this because, I strained my calf. So it took a strained calf for me to be able to be patient with myself and to be positive with myself going on this run. But that's just what's happened, is I've always had that critical inner voice be very, very loud, because that's what I grew up with. And so to me, that was something that I thought that I needed to further myself in life, when in reality, I was making myself miserable, not just on my training runs and making him miserable as well, but in my business, with my relationships. Always the critical voice is what I felt most comfortable with. So that's what I would trust the most. When in reality, that critical voice is doing nothing but keeping me small, keeping me alone, keeping me unsupported, keeping me from achieving my goals, because it sees the world as a scary place and it sees people as wanting to harm me. But that energy is not going to get me to where I want to go. So if I wanted to complete this half marathon, I could not talk smack to myself the entire 13.1 miles of running that race and expect myself to finish feeling good. And so I had to shift something. But it starts with one small area in your life, and then that can tumble into other areas and create a domino effect. But it's essentially, what are you more committed to? Are you committed to who you've been or who you're becoming? Are you taking advice from your past self or your future self?
I think that's spot on. I don't know if anyone relates with that too, but you know, the past self is just, yeah, everything that you've been, everything that you've grown through, you know, all the trials that you've gone and dealt with along the way. And yeah, you're here now. And can those trials, do they beat you down, or do they help give you armor and give you everything that you need to achieve more in life, right? Which way are you looking at things like that? So I think that's spot on. And a lot of us, I'm going to say myself included, right? So no one will mind if I pick on me, but so yeah, how many of us actually just are living through that lens of our past self in many different aspects and ways, right? And that could just be from the last week, the last month, everything. You know, I think that is just spot on. If everyone is being, honest with yourself, I think it's very difficult to look at life from the future perspective, from who we actually want to be, and to embody those things now. Because then we've got to deal with all of that gunk that's telling us, well, not good enough. And what even it's shown you, your mind will show you that you have failed in the past at these types of things, right? But what the heck does that mean? You failed at something and now you're getting a little bit better at it, yet your mind wants to quickly go to those things saying, nope, don't do those types of things.
Like, nope, you don't have that yet. So this is why you're full of shit.
Yeah.
Like, nope, don't think that positive about yourself because that's not here yet. So here's the reason why you are just fooling yourself. But in reality, it's a new frequency that you need to practice embodying. This is all energy. It's a new frequency that you need to practice embodying. So to your point, babe, what you were saying is like, yeah, your mind's going to remind you of all of your failures and all of the reasons why you're not equipped to be that future version. You're not equipped to have what that future self has. And in reality, what that tells me is that you're just really practiced in one vibrational frequency and you get to practice embodying another. And this is where exercises like visualization come in and are really supportive, or meditation, but meditation with the use of really tapping into that. How's it going to feel when you have that thing? Because then we are practicing embodying that energy of our future self. And on a subconscious level, a little more scientific for you people that like science, on a subconscious level, the subconscious mind will not accept anything that it does not feel is true. So if it feels that something is foreign or different, it will reject it. This is why we're really, really good at going to the gym for like 2 days in a row and then stopping. Or we're really good at eating healthy for like 2 meals and then we go back to that comfortable way of eating. Or we're really good, we have a really productive day, and then the next day we feel like we have a hangover and we're like, oh my gosh, I just need to binge on the couch all day.
Hey,
because we have a productivity hangover.
You got a video or something? You watching everything that I end up doing?
You calling yourself out
on all those things? Maybe no. I mean, but like, right? We've all felt those types of things. We've done those things before. I mean. Yeah, and let's be honest.
Yeah, and that happens because if the subconscious does not believe something is available to you now, meaning it does not believe that it can actually happen to you, that it's something that's here and now that's safe for you to have, it will repel it. And it will repel it by via your reticular activating system. You won't even see the possibilities of it. You'll see the possibilities of everything else. You'll see all of your failures. You'll see all of the reasons why you're a screw up. You'll see all of the reasons why this isn't meant for you, because it's like, hey, whoa, don't you remember? Like, this is who you are. This isn't who you are, right? So it's going to help you focus on what it believes is true for you. And it's going to bring those little habits that we all have, like procrastination or perfectionism, that make us procrastinate, or just starting something and then stopping. Maybe we're very multi-passionate. So we get frozen. We're frozen. We're stuck. We can't move forward. We feel confused. It's going to bring all of that to the forefront. So if we want something, we're going to feel a lot of resistance moving into that. Because if we want those results and we haven't had it yet, we got to do something else. And that something else is making it familiar to your subconscious first. This is an energy shift. We do this through taking advice from our future self. In every single one of my courses, if you've taken a course with me, you know this. One of the first week or the second week is always we go through an inventory of our beliefs and we write out all of the beliefs that are not helping us, the beliefs that don't feel good. And we write out the beliefs of our future self. What do we need to believe to be true? This is not some hocus pocus exercise just to feel good and put dust fairy dust on our journaling exercises. This is because when we constantly see something written down, one, when we write something and then we see it being written, it activates multiple areas in the brain. When we recite it to ourselves, it activates more areas in the brain. The more areas in the brain that we can light up, the more true it can feel for us of this is who I am. So then when we read that regularly and we start to feel into, wow, what's the version of me that believes this to be true? How do they feel on a regular basis? Because what we always do next is, if you've been in a course with me, we get our beliefs, but then we feel into how it's going to feel when we have that thing. And so when we match the belief with the feeling, we practice feeling that for as little as 30 seconds a day. Everyone can do this. You gradually build. But as you do this, you are teaching your subconscious mind, this is true for me. This is true for me right now. And what happens? Your reticular activating system, that area in our brain that makes us focus on things, it starts to see solutions. It starts to see open doors. It starts to see opportunities. It starts to see ways that you can stop procrastinating and holding yourself back. And it gradually stops from focusing on the things like the productivity hangovers or the just numbing out and looking for something else to keep yourself busy, because it recognizing, oh, this is who I am. So these are the things that I do now. This is the power of getting your energy on board before you take action or simultaneously. And it is really powerful because we're all really good at blocking ourselves from what we want if it feels foreign.
Heck yeah. Wow. Seems like you've done that a time or two.
This is the thing. Like I got into this work because of my relationship with my body. And I was already over exercising. I was already the healthiest eater that I knew. And everyone said I was the healthiest person. But I was struggling and I was 30 pounds overweight and I was bulimic and I was depressed and anxious and all of that good stuff. And so I had to use this because I was trying everything. I was taking all the action and it wasn't working. So I had to switch things up and use my mind and my energy and try a different avenue. And then it worked so well. It freaked me and my sister out. People would literally come up to me and be like, what are you doing? You look so good. My sister taught boot camp classes and they'd be like, what are you doing? You look so good. And I'm like, honestly, I don't know. I don't know. I'm eating chocolate. I'm eating avocados, dark chocolate, avocados. I do these classes. I'm working out a little bit less. And they're like, oh yeah, right. They didn't believe me. And this is how powerful this is. And it doesn't just work for the body. It works for this is what I did for you. I did this for our relationship too, because you were eluding me at first. You were very much in your head.
Yeah.
He was operating from a past self. And well, you're not my typical type. And this is what I usually feel in a relationship.
And I have to have other options as an engineer. Let me have lots of other options in case this thing fails.
Yeah.
Because everything's failed before.
Yeah.
So let me prepare for that.
And I had made a conscious decision before we met to operate for my future self. So this was me going out with people that weren't like my typical type, which was not good. It was based off of toxicity and what I thought was familiar and whatever other things. But so he was totally different than anyone I had ever dated, but I loved it. And we felt so comfortable with each other.
It was very
And
comfortable.
It was.
Mhm.
And I was constantly like, my normal way of showing up was very anxious in relationships.
Mm.
And I did that at first. And that kind of pushed you away.
Yeah.
After our third day, I was like, all right, so do you want to make this official?
I know. Yeah. You were a little pushy about things. I'm like,
and you're like, I don't really know.
I don't know about this.
Yeah.
But I did know. I was like, no.
Yeah. But we did. We like didn't talk for almost a month after that. And then I took action from my future self, did some running challenge with my sister. I didn't realize he was such an avid runner. He reached out to me that like rekindled our communication. And then basically from there forward, I was always like in the present moment, how does this feel? And I had to operate from my future self of, in a year down the road, if we're together, will this moment matter right now? And if it only matters like that, I feel good in each moment. How do I feel right now? And yeah, it was very uncomfortable because we didn't have a title. I just made a post about this. We didn't have a title for the first 8 to 8-ish months of our relationship. I told him I love you before we were even boyfriend and girlfriend. And like we would hug, and I hadn't told him I loved him yet. And we would hug and I would be like, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you.
In your mind,
in my mind.
Right? Yeah.
Because I couldn't tell him yet.
Super cute.
Yeah. But yeah, so I had to operate from that future self, and I would visualize us together. And then I also knew that like, okay, if it's not him, then the next person that comes into my life is going to be freaking amazing, because this is so amazing that I can't even imagine what the next relationship will be like. So you have to operate out of that trust, but your future self trusts. They trust that things are going to work out always for you because they've lived through everything else that hasn't worked out, and they still have the thing that you want. So they know it's going to work out. So if we're actually operating from that energy of trust and overflow and not scarcity, then we will get the results that we want or something better. And this is something I'm applying to my business now as I expand my business. And so now I'm applying what I've done with my body and my relationships to my business. And we're like teaching him how to apply all of this energetic stuff to his life over the last year and a half, because he didn't really know what I did for the first
life and business too. I mean, even as something as mundane as when a tenant moves out of a property for me, I'm talking with my property manager. I'm going to embody like they're going to be doing these things.
Yes.
Right. They're going to get all these things done.
Yeah.
They're not going to leave us with a terrible mess, so just leaning into that, acting as if that was going to happen so that I convey that to her. She conveys those type of emotions and feelings and actions towards the tenants so that they're like, oh, wow, they're just expecting me to do this. Of course, they're not being like, you better do this, not coming from a place like, oh, nobody ever takes care of these things. So we're just harping on them that, no, just be cool. Like, you guys are great, upstanding tenants, wonderful people in this world, just here's the little icing, just these are your last things to do, like we've talked about. And so just leaning into that. And then even when they don't do those things and they leave it a mess, whatever, I still got to embody that happiness that I was feeling, pushing that out to them. If not them, we're going to get someone even better in there that will do those things. And that feels a lot better to me than going through and being like, how bad is this one? Oh gosh, and almost like a competition in my mind of which tenant can screw me the most.
Yeah,
from
kind
things,
of did
right?
That,
yeah.
But even what we were talking about yesterday about I don't know if you want to talk about it.
I don't care.
Yeah. So even about that, maybe like how you operate from your future self versus from like what people are saying, well, this is happening to you right now. You choose not to operate from your current circumstance, but you choose to operate from the life that you desire to live. Therefore, you actually live that life.
Yeah.
Where so many people, they choose to operate from their current circumstance. And so many of us are guilty of this.
So if you guys don't know, about 4 or 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with MS. I had a thing where I was doing a million different ventures in my business. It was, I would be up late, stressed out, looking at tons of screens, being very productive, getting a lot done, highly performing, but at the expense of my nervous system and my body. So yeah, I ended up having this event that whatever. Fast forward, they slapped this binder in front of me that says, welcome to you having MS. I'm like, what is MS, right? I don't even know. Doctors don't even know, for gosh sakes, right? But it's an autoimmune disease in the brain. But there's so many people that will see that and be like, oh, I was talking to someone the other day where just their aunt ended up dying from it at the age of 41, for gosh sakes. There's so many people that have debilitating bodies because of it, right? But I say, screw that. No way. I know what happened. It's a disease that ends up coming from stress. Stress manifests in the body as disease in a million different ways, right? So who the heck wants to get rid of stress in their life? We all do. Yeah. So screw that. But so how many ways can I just be healthier? I mean, I was already eating pretty healthy, but all right, let's try and amp that up more. I was already active, but let's do some more with that. But just more things in my mind make my business less stressful. How many ways can I attract a relaxing environment as opposed to attracting more stress and things in it? And then also, how many other ways can I start to look at things and just attract those towards me? So yeah, I do live in,
and even how you use your body. Like so many people, we were just reading an article yesterday of like this celebrity who was diagnosed with MS, and she was just going down this victim story saying how she can't really do anything anymore, how it's taken a toll on her. Zac was diagnosed with MS and he runs marathons.
Yeah.
Signs up for half marathons. He refused to let a diagnosis of his current circumstance define what he will be able to move into, what he's going to cultivate in his life.
And I just look for other instances of people that do have success through it all. Like there's a book on the bookshelf right in there that's talking about a guy who ate healthy and who, thank you, Tammy, heck yeah, who ate healthy and who was very active. And so maybe I'll try to model him in some of the things that I do. But I just look for other positive things that are out there, other people that are leaning through that and with success, and people that are having issues with it. I say, that's not me. Like that is not me at the end of the day. So I'm not going to bring that on myself. And I haven't had any instances, any issues with that since. And I just, I'm continually, but what it did do is it did make me. But
you're always getting better though, too.
Yeah, well, because the body can regenerate, the body can heal itself. So let the body heal itself. Yeah. Absolutely, Tammy.
What it did do.
So what it did for me is it made me appreciate every little thing. And so what I did notice is anytime that I saw somebody that said, "Oh, you can't, you're not going to be able to walk or run or something like that." Okay. That's for you. Again, that's not for me. Yeah, but in addition, why don't I just be thankful and grateful for every step that I'm taking right now, for every time that I'm outside that I like to go run? That's another reason that I like to go run, saying, let's soak it in, right? Because regardless of this disease or some other disease or whatever the heck, we're all going to die eventually in some way. No one's figured that thing out yet. So why not just be grateful and thankful and happy every darn day? In the meantime, as much as humanly possible, of course, without being ridiculously over happy in everything that's going on. But sweetie, you're so adorable. So so absolutely. So it's just be grateful, be happy, lean into those things, feel those things now. Your future self, a week from now or anything, they're going to be like, why didn't you go for a run? Why didn't you walk in nature that day? Why didn't you go hang out with your friends? Why did you do these things? Why did you eat this junk right now? It doesn't feel good right when you put it in your body. And sometimes we still do that. We got things that we have to work through. I'm with you guys where, we just might eat and eat and eat to put off some other things in life. That happens. And so then what I do after that, I run and I run and I run. And I try and make up for it.
But it's essentially like where are you making your decisions from? Are you making them from your past self and your current circumstances, or from your future self and what's possible for you? And yeah, we're human. We're going to mess up. And yeah, we have that fear of failure. Like Jordan said, a lot of us have multiple different fears, but are we letting our fears define us? Did Zac let his fear of death or his fear of his body potentially
crippling,
being
debilitating
immobile,
terribleness?
yeah, did he let that stop him from achieving wonderful things physically, or did he let that propel him into the gratitude that cultivated his ability to take some of these actions? And that's something that I think if a lot of us could just shift our perspective, me included, that
we're all works
my
in
current
progress, guys.
circumstance, and is my current circumstance, how am I leveraging my current circumstance? Am I leveraging it so it keeps me stuck here, so I keep looking for all the evidence of why I deserve what I currently have, or why I can't move forward, or why I'm stuck and why I feel this heaviness, or like why I can't trust, or whatever that the story might be that we attach to it? Or am I using my current circumstance to leverage me into the gratitude I'm going to feel when I have that thing that I desire, when I am mobile, when I am wealthier, when I am feeling more peace in my body, when I'm in that healthy relationship, when I have that number on the scale that I think I need to feel comfortable in my body? How am I using my current circumstance? Because we all have a choice. We can use it to align more with our past self or more with our future self.
Yeah.
And one of those is going to get you those same results, and the other one is going to get you those great results that you want. But the thing is if those results don't come for 6 months or a year or multiple years, are you still going to have that gratitude? Because I guarantee you, and this is kind of an oxymoron, but the more gratitude you embody as you're working towards your goal, because gratitude is the energy of receiving, right? So if we're in gratitude, we already have that thing. And remember, your subconscious mind wants to know that you have it, or wants to know that it's true for you, in order for you to easily obtain the habits that you need to have that thing, that you need to do to take action to have that thing. So if we're feeling gratitude or joy or love or whatever it is, before we have that, for just as little as 30 seconds a day, build it up to 2 minutes a day, build that up to 7 minutes a day, and just keep building until it becomes who you are. And then you're enjoying life so much that you're just like, oh my gosh, this thing just showed up and I'm so grateful, but my cup is so full already. It's a bonus. It's not a necessity anymore. And
I like that.
Yeah. And we can allow ourselves to feel that way first and then have it come in. We're taught that we need the thing to feel the emotion, when in reality, we can feel any emotion any time of day that we want. And it does feel like that oxymoron of, well, I don't have it yet, so why am I grateful? I'm grateful because I have the opportunity to get that. I'm grateful because, yeah, I'm drinking my coffee right now in my kitchen with a decent view, but I'm grateful because one morning I'm going to wake up in front of the ocean drinking my coffee. Or one morning I'm going to wake up and I'm going to open my computer and I'm not going to see $0 in my bank account. I'm going to see 6 zeros after numbers in my bank account, whatever it is. But right now I'm grateful for this current experience. And it's not until we can feel that way now that we can easily propel ourselves into those next habits. And this is a conscious decision that we have to make every day. Every day we have to make this decision. Some days it's going to be easier than others. And some days you're going to be like, fuck it, I don't want to make that decision. And that's okay too. Go with how you feel, but also know that you have a choice. You have a choice of, if you don't have those results yet, who are you saying yes to? Which version of yourself are you saying yes to? And what are you making it mean?
Yeah. And so, Jordan, to your comment, I love that. Yeah. Many different people who they sort of are maybe woken up by these type of stressful type of situations, diagnoses, or whatever it is. I'll tell you, I'm thankful. I'm very thankful and grateful that I was diagnosed with MS. As crazy as that is, I'm thankful for so many different ways, because yeah, I'm grateful for more things every day. It's taught me to live without stress. literally it's on my board right over there for things that I do. I just want it relaxing and easeful. I'm grateful because I wouldn't have had her in my life. I wouldn't have attracted that patience. What? It was, 2017. That was 5 years ago. My gosh, that was right. So right when I got diagnosed, I was trying to live a life, 2017, where I was focused on the word patience. So much so, the only time that I've ever focused on a word for an entire year was because clearly I noticed that I didn't have patience. I was doing a million different things and I didn't have patience for them to come to fruition even, yet alone patience to stand in a line or anything like that. But I didn't have patience at that point. So yeah, all of those things, everything since, it's been a little roller coaster, and hindsight is 2020 and allows us to be more grateful for things that have happened in our life, like my ex marriage that happened, right? It wasn't until going through an exercise with Monique, maybe a year ago, 8 months ago. I don't even know. Feels like an eternity ago. But going through that exercise with her, that I just felt grateful and all of a sudden loving again towards my ex-wife when I had not felt those things. I felt resentful, because I was holding on to some things from that, but yet I wouldn't be where I am, obviously, right here. I wouldn't have found my career that I'm in if it wasn't for her and for getting a divorce from her, in fact, right? So how thankful and happy am I to do that? Man, immediately that summer, I ended up skydiving, jumping out of a plane, scuba diving, going underneath where I've got my fear of sharks, that can get me a lot faster than I can scuba dive away. And by the way, I can't breathe water, and I learned how to play guitar because I always thought that would be a cool way to woo a woman, right? If I could sing and play guitar.
He has never played guitar for me.
Okay, so put that on my to-do list. You might not be the best, but I bet she would like it, right? I still bet she would like it. And that summer, I also ended up running a marathon. I went from 2 miles to a full marathon in less than 4 months. All of those things I would not have done. Definitely not done as quickly. Probably some of them would never have done if it wasn't for my ex and that relationship.
You leveraging that current circumstance to better your future.
Yeah.
Not to you leveraged it through the lens of a victor, a leader in your life, not a victim.
Yeah.
And it's really easy to leverage our current circumstance in the victim mentality. But what is that doing for us?
Yeah.
Nothing. It's doing nothing. It's keeping us exactly where we are, if not regressing.
Yeah.
If we can see it from a different perspective, from that victor perspective, from that leader perspective, we are leading ourselves through life, then we can take that action. We can do those things. And who knows? He didn't know what doing all of that stuff, what it would result in. He didn't do it because he's like, okay, I'm going to skydive and it's going to get me this goal. And I'm going to do this and it's going to get me this goal. I'm going to learn, guitar because he wanted the goal of playing for girls, but he didn't even need to play guitar to get a fiance.
She probably didn't even know that I had a guitar.
I know you have many. They're upstairs.
Oh, okay.
And they were hanging on the wall at Howard House.
Oh, that's right.
And
if I couldn't play it, at least I wanted to put it up there just to show him, like, someday maybe he'll do something very.
But I think that is a really good way to wrap this segment up, is that you did things because they felt good. And you did things because they aligned you with living your life. And that's what you wanted to do at that time. As stress-free as possible, as exciting as possible. You didn't do things because they were going to get you an end goal.
No.
And because of that, though, it opened you up to a new career. It opened you up to becoming an entrepreneur. It opened you up to meeting your baby mama. And it opened you up to all of these other opportunities that Zac back then couldn't have even understood that was going to happen, or when it was going to happen. And we can't predict when something is going to happen. We can't predict on this day and this year, this is going to happen if I take this action now. We can only take an action and then take another action and take another action. And we can decide to take action through the energy of fear and resentment, or judge or shame or comparison, or we can choose to take action through hope and faith and love and empowerment. And both of those are going to get us vastly different results. But you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in your future self. You have to know that if it's something that you can envision and you can feel in your heart, it is a possibility for you. You would not be able to tap into it if it weren't. If it weren't, it would not even be available to you.
You wouldn't think it. You wouldn't want to get that thing. You wouldn't think that you could get that thing. How quickly we think we can get it. We wake up in the wrong day and we're just like, I don't know that. I don't know that thing's
even
possible
like when
anymore.
we wake up, it's like, oh, it's not here yet. Or we could wake up and be like, awesome, it didn't come yesterday. I'm a day closer to it.
And even going to bed, there's a hack. There's many times where we'll go to bed, and I remember I try to think of, what am I excited for tomorrow? And even I'll think about the thing that I just want to get done. I'm excited to get that thing done tomorrow, right? So that I can get closer towards this thing, something that I might be putting off. But even if there's something wonderful, like we're leaving for vacation, sure, I'm going to think about that, and I'm going to go to bed with those sweet dreams and sugar plum fairies and whatever the heck in my head. But yeah, I'll even use that to hack myself and think, all right, tomorrow, right? Tomorrow, I'm going to feel so good when I get this thing done, because it's been irking me, right? So get that thing done. So I'll go to bed with my subconscious thinking the whole night, oh, wow, he's going to be excited tomorrow morning. Get that thing done. Wow, he better tackle that early. Wow, he better, push everything aside, make sure that he doesn't put anything in his way to slow him down, be excited for the day first thing in the morning, because gosh darn it, we're all versions of myself. We're looking forward to when that thing is done. Yeah. And that's what we're doing tomorrow. Right. So it's as easy as something like that. Little hacks all over the place. Like what you were saying, those little, just all of those things to think about and just feel those emotions, all those techniques that you bring in, having those little sayings around you. All of these things help so much, right? Together, they all help tremendously. Yet how quick are we just to give up on something without that, right? Yeah. I mean, like, stack all these wonderful things in your favor. That's one of the things that we try to do. That's why we've been talking and putting these on YouTube, is because there's jewels, there's gems, there's wonderful things. And honestly, another reason that we do this is because we like to.
Yeah, I know, it helps.
We like to get these things. There's the repetition and there's the intensity. I love listening to her. I don't probably hear a lot of her stuff the same way that you guys get to hear stuff. I've never gone through one of her courses. When she was telling you guys that this is what she does in every course, the first thought of mine was just, I want to go through one of her courses too. I want to get those things in my head, right? Because I'm just always looking to be a little bit better and to share a little bit more with everyone, help everyone out a little bit more. That's why I'm like, okay, I like to run with me. Here's a running plan. Like, let's do that. Like, let's do that. You like real estate? Awesome. I do too. Be careful. I'll talk your face off about that. Right? Mindset stuff, energy stuff. I've had to go through my own battle, even before that, I will call them little battles, right? We're all going through them with any breakup that we have, with any failure, with any career. Gosh, careers, man, they can feel good and bad every day. And when you change from one to the next, it also feels bad, but then good at the same time. So there's so many little battles that we go through. But yeah, at the end of the day, guys, I mean, join us every week. Get little accesses to her because she's amazing. She's got so many wonderful things in her. I have to pause and slow this down enough and type some things out because I'm not an audio type of learner. I want to write something down, see it a little bit more too, in many different ways. Like she's telling you the exercises to do that, the kinesthetic learning. Heck yeah, Tammy. Yeah, she is amazing. I'm going to put you on here because you are great. Heck yeah. She is amazing. We're all amazing, though. We're all amazing. We're absolutely all amazing. Hey, Shane. Happy freaking Monday. Absolutely. We love you too, man. Yeah. So let's go. Let's all go and just be awesome, right? Be awesome together. Be awesome for the people that you love. Be awesome with the people that you love. And yeah, do some great things. I don't even know, babe. Here, let me put something up. Says that we love everyone. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, and just throughout the week, if anything comes up, you guys have questions, comments, anything, feel free to message us. We are open to receiving topics from people. Otherwise, we'll keep creating our own. And like if there's something that you want us to touch on or you just want to discuss, then let us know.
Yeah, so this is a free-for-all. You could comment in here now. That's fine. You can comment in this after we're here. If there's anything, any topics that you want us to talk about, anything at all, number one, topics in general, anything you're curious about. But, you know, if there's some problems that you're having, that you're experiencing, let me tell you that you're not alone. We probably, many of us have experienced them before in one way, shape, or form. So please, you know, share that. We could talk about that. We could even potentially bring some people on to talk with them about that. If you'd like to share all of that. I mean, I'm here. I'm always getting coached by her, whether you think she is or not. You know, sometimes the examples she will pull were from me.
This is true.
This is very true.
Sometimes they're from you, but I don't even know they're from you until you're like, oh yeah. That's
I'm
like,
all me.
He's resonating with this.
Oh wow, where did those examples come from? Yeah, right. But that's cool, right? Because we're all just trying to get a little bit better. So yeah, show up, you know, give us some suggestions, and we've got some other ideas that we're going to be sharing with you guys too, in the absence of any other comments or topics that you guys have. But feel free.
And just like as a reminder for this week is to notice where you're rushing your life in order for that next goal to be achieved. Because the reason you want that goal is probably more freedom, more patience, more time, more happiness, more joy, more expansion. So how is rushing your life getting you there? Because you're quite frankly embodying the complete opposite, right? And now we know, hopefully after this, that the fastest way to get you there is to practice embodying those feelings and those beliefs that version of you that's already living that life has, because we want to make this as real as possible to your subconscious mind. Okay.
Train that mind.
Yes.
Just like you train any other muscle. Train it hard some days, then give it breaks, but do it consistently.
You are going to have like that productivity hangover where you did a lot, or you journaled a lot, or you had a huge revelation, or you had a big cry, or
you might be uncovering
you're just
big things.
a little depleted. Yeah. That's okay. Let yourself do that. Just like one healthy meal is not going to give you your dream body, one deposit into your bank account isn't going to last you for the rest of your life. One bad day is not going to derail you and all of your progress. It's just a day that maybe you didn't get as many things done as you wanted to. So that's what the meaning we can give it. When we have the power of assigning meaning to whatever it is that we want. And that meaning then helps us define who we are within our daily experience. So what meaning are you giving things? What are you making things mean in your life? And does that meaning support your past self or your future self? Does it support the reality that you are wanting to create, or the reality that has cultivated your current experience? Which one are you putting deposits into?
I know which one I want to put deposits into. Future self.
And there will be resistance, but the more resistance you feel, the bigger the breakthrough on the other side. And he gets frustrated with me because I push him through his resistance, but you push me through my resistance too.
Yeah, and she gets frustrated with that, guys.
But that's because it's frustrating. It's challenging every
real.
Part of our identity.
That's
real. Why we have that resistance, because it challenges who we are, who we believe ourselves to be.
So find someone that can also help support you. We're always going to help support you guys. Especially anyone reaches out to us, talks with us, shows up with us. We love you so much. So we're always going to be here for you. We're always going to be supporting you. You're very special to us. So know that you're not alone, but keep finding more, keep going after it. And
I do energy healing sessions and 3 and 6 month one-on-one containers as well. But it is an investment and it will change your life.
Yeah, I've seen some of the testimonials from things like that, because it's just, I feel like not a lot of people know what she really doesn't really necessarily know if it's real, if it's going to be real for them. It's funny, all the little stories that we come up with in our own head to block ourselves from success. And I'm right there with you, right? And I questioned a lot of these things in the beginning too, and yet I'll try her exercises. She'll do things on me and I'll be like, holy smokes. And I even resisted it, right? I resisted it going into it. It's just, it's mind-boggling how some things can change you. Yet it isn't, right? Because we've all had things that we didn't know until we knew them. There's so many things that we don't know in this world. And that's probably the biggest portion of it, because we get blindsided by those. We know what we know, and we know an idea of some things that we don't know. Like, I don't know how to do this thing. I know that, right? But there's so many things that we don't know that we don't even know. That's where the 18-year-old thinks that they're the most brilliant person in the world, right? And then they get to be 25 and they start to get a little more humble. And then the older we get, it's just, I kept saying, the more degrees I got, the dumber I felt, because the more things I realized I didn't know in life. So yeah, open your eyes to the things that you don't know. And yeah, energy work is a surprising one. And that's one of the reasons we love sharing this all with you guys. So, all right, we're going to let you go now. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Love it. Love it. Have an awesome rest of your week. Put us on your calendar. One more week from today, 7
Next
p.m.
Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
And feel free to add whatever comments, even throughout the week. Anything that pops in, say that you're struggling with this. Say that your friend is struggling with something else. Don't worry. It doesn't have to be you, right? It doesn't have to be you, but it also doesn't have to be you. Because we're all experiencing a lot of things like this. So please don't feel alone. Anytime you see anything like that, come here, let's share, let's heal, and let's go be awesome people. Thank you so much. Have a great one. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.